For me, as an anime and manga fan, I see other fans talking about binging series that are so good they can binge it in a day. You know, talking about all these shonen manga and all these seinen manga and how they read it in a weekend, how they read it in a week, and how they read it in this short amount of time because it was that good. And I think to myself how I can't really relate to that, like, at all. For me, personally, I find it really hard to binge and read more than, like, 10 chapters at a time when it comes to something like a Hunter x Hunter, My Hero Academia, Naruto, One Piece, a shonen series. It's really hard for me to binge. The only shonen series I've really binged was Naruto, and that was the first anime I ever watched. So it makes sense that I got really, really into it and binged it all the way through. But when I try to binge regular series, I just can't really get into them. Now, I can binge read, some psychological seinen manga that really grip me, like I did with Homunculus and My Dearest Self with Malice of Warthought. I have videos on both of those. Feel free to check them out. And I can also binge some romance manga as well if I get really, really into them. But there is one genre that I think not enough people talk about. Not enough people talk about each and every series in this specific genre. This genre is the most underrated genre in all of anime and manga, and the only genre I can truly binge read, and that is the sports genre in anime and manga. Now let's delve into a couple of the reasons why I think the sports genre in anime and manga is so special, and I think you should really give it a chance and read some of these series I'm about to recommend, even if you're not necessarily into the specific sport. The competitive side of the story, the entire manga, is like reading a shonen tournament arc. But you're rooting for one team and one team only. You get to know this team so much. It's like you've been a fan of this team. It's like it's your hometown team for the last 10 years and they finally made the playoffs. That's what it feels like reading these manga, getting to know these characters, getting to know this team, getting to know their synergy and how they work as a team. And it really, really brings out the competitive side in me, and I think a lot of readers, and that's why they really, really enjoy reading it, is because the competitive side of the story is so enhanced. It's not like a shonen manga where shonen, unless it's a tournament arc, there's not really a competitive side of the story. The fights aren't competitive, they're more intense. You care about if the characters get, dead, killed or not. But in sports manga, you care if they win. It brings out the competitive and not the intense side, although the matches, games are still really, really intense. But the competitive side of some of these stories is absolutely incredible. I find myself flying through 20 chapters of just straight gameplay. That sounds like I'm reviewing a video game, but straight gameplay in the story when they're playing a match. And it's just brilliant, man. It's brilliant. The way some of these authors are able to depict a sports game is incredible. A sports game makes it sound like I don't watch sports, but there's multiple different sports. I don't know what to call it. A game. The authors do an incredible job. The competitive side of the story is one of the highly, highly, highly praised aspects of sports manga from me personally. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the character development because I think sports manga as a whole, I'm talking about manga, but also for anime, as a whole, has some of the best character development and some of the best character arcs in all of anime and manga. If you've read Awashi specifically, I've made a video on that one as well. You know that the character development in sports manga is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I'm going to talk about a few series here in just a moment, but the character development is incredible. Seeing what these characters go through to achieve their dreams is, it gives you a special sense of drive. Like, it really motivates you seeing what some of these characters do to, achieve their dream in their sport, whatever that may be, soccer, basketball, baseball, volleyball, whatever it may be. It's truly, truly incredible, some of these character developments, and I don't want to delve too much into that because it's not an analysis, but the character development in sports manga is incredible. Before I get into recommending the specific sports anime and manga that I would personally recommend you get into, I want to tell you guys a story and why I personally think that some people are reluctant to get into sports anime and manga. One of my friends, who I've been friends with for a very, very long time, is really, really into sports. I mean, he likes baseball, basketball, football, soccer, all the sports. He's into everything. Everything sports he is into. And me and him personally have played thousands of hours of Madden, thousands of hours of MLB The Show, right? He's into sports. Sports is not the problem. He also has 150 plus completed anime on my anime list. So he's really into anime and really into sports. Now, I personally started reading Slam Dunk. I binged like 170 chapters plus of it and told him, hey, you need to watch Slam Dunk, because he doesn't read manga, because I thought Slam Dunk was incredible. It's great. And he told me he would not watch a sports anime because sports anime are stupid. So why would someone who's really into sports and really into anime not want to watch a sports anime? Well, I think it has a little bit to do with the fan bases of some series, specifically Haikyuu fans. During 2020 and 2021, there was a lot of really, really, really cringe Haikyuu fan edits on TikTok. And I feel like a lot of people got rubbed the wrong way by that, because those were really cringy. I mean, the Haikyuu fan base is up there as one of the most cringy anime fan bases. I mean, it's up there with My Hero, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, like that kind of stuff. Like, that's where I think Haikyuu falls in. And that's the biggest sports anime fan base. So people see that, and then they don't want to go and read something that's really good. And it's kind of a shame, because I think Haikyuu is a little bit different than something like My Hero, because I think Haikyuu isn't the Haikyuu, the series specifically, not including the fans, is not as cringe as My Hero. Like, My Hero can be a cringe series. Some people like it, some people don't like it. It's whatever. I'm not here to debate My Hero right now. But I think it a little bit has to do with the fans. A little bit has to do with the fans. Now that the slandering of the Haikyuu fanbase is over, it's time to recommend you guys some sports manga that you should be reading and checking out. If you haven't read any sports manga at all, ever, or watched any sports anime at all, ever, and the first one is going to be Aoashi. Aoashi is a soccer or football manga, and I have made a video on this about a year ago, and just kind of giving my overall thoughts and going deeper into the series, so I will link that down in the description below if you want to know more about it, because I won't be going into too much detail right here, right now. But Aoashi is essentially a football manga about Ashito, our main character, and he joins a very, very skilled team, and basically just him climbing the ranks in the soccer world in Japan. And it's really, really good, because the author really shows and flexes his knowledge of the sport throughout the story, and it really, really adds to it, and it has that real sports competitive drive to it, and I really, really, really enjoyed binge reading Aoashito, so I highly recommend you get into it. It is one of the best manga, in my opinion, ever written, so read Aoashi. It's really, really good. The next two are both manga on baseball. One is called Bungo, which is the more underrated series, not Bungo Stray Dogs, but it is spelled the same. Bungo is a baseball manga about a pitcher and a hitter who are on the same team, but they're both striving to beat each other. One of them has never played baseball before, the other one has played baseball his entire life, and it's kind of just their journey to trying to get to Koshin, which I think I pronounced that right, but if you don't know, it's the big high school baseball tournament in Japan where, basically a Japanese professional team has to leave their home stadium for 2 weeks during the spring-summer season to let the Koshin tournament play there, because it has so much more of a demand than the professional league. I mean, the Koshin is massive. So this manga really shows how big it is and how much people will give up to play in the Koshin. I mean, that is their dreams. Like, as long as they get to the Koshin, the rest of their career doesn't matter. And I think in this manga, it shows a lot of that really, really well. And I really, really enjoying. It's not over yet, so I haven't finished it, but I'm really, really enjoying Bungo, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. Now, the second one is a more popular series in Diamond No Ace. Now, Diamond No Ace I haven't read too much of, so I can't go into detail about it, but it's basically about someone who is a pitcher, and they come from a very small town, so they've had limited training, and they go to a big school, and he's got to get better if he wants to start. Kind of Awashi vibes, but in baseball, not soccer. So I really recommend Diamond No Ace, as well as that is a very, very long-running series, and you can really get into it. And I forgot to mention, but Awashi does have a anime. Bungo does not. That is manga only. And Diamond No Ace also has a anime as well, and manga. Now, the next series is going to sound a little counterintuitive because I just spent a couple minutes bashing Haikyuu fans, but the next series is Haikyuu. Now, before you say you don't want to read something about volleyball, you don't necessarily need to, in sports manga, read something that you're into. You don't need to read a sports manga about a sport that you're into. I am not the biggest fan of soccer, but I love Awashi, and it made me get FIFA and made me play FIFA career mode for like a month straight. So Haikyuu can be really good if you're up to it. It's not as cringy as the fans make it seem, and I haven't read a lot of it, so I can't say too much, but it's definitely not as cringy as the fans seem, and it being rated highly is not just because of the cringe fan base. Like this, there's a reason why it's praised as like an incredible series. So definitely check out Haikyuu if you're up for the challenge. Now, the final series I'm going to be recommending is Slam Dunk. It is probably the most popular sports manga of all time, next to Haikyuu, of course, and for good reason, because Slam Dunk is absolutely incredible. I could make 10,000 videos on this series, and somehow I haven't finished it yet. I binged those 170 chapters I was talking about and kind of just stopped. Even though it was at a really, really good part, I kind of just stopped. I really need to get back into it and finish it, so don't chastise me too much in the comments because I know I need to finish it. But Slam Dunk is so, so good. If you are a fan of any sport at all, trust me, you will love Slam Dunk. That is going to be the end of the video. Of course, there is plenty more sports manga you can get into. If you have any personal recommendations for me, I will gladly take them because I love sports manga so much. The more, the merrier. So please recommend me any sports manga I didn't talk about here today. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Peace.